hips, giant headphones jammed down, but he reminded me my own home was only streets away, albeit in a different universe. The uncomfortable polarity of Kensington and Chelsea, Britain's richest borough, with the poorest neighbours. Double-gated Victorian mansions, sleek Georgian townhouses, all overshadowed by the ugly inconvenience of concrete tower blocks. Immigrants and council tenants living centimetres from countesses, celebrities and oligarchs, while down the famous Portobello Road market traders vied with foreign princes and media moguls for parking places. Listen carefully and you might even catch a distant echo of the 1958 race riots when an overspill of anger led to the eventual creation of the world-renowned Notting Hill Carnival. So who exactly did it belong to these days? Well, not me, that was for sure. I'd ended up here by way of Yorkshire and marriage to a local lad, but it was home enough. Today. Nearly 7:30 and still no Melissa. Rare indeed for a woman who lived by a stopwatch. One of the many things I'd loved about her since she left an M&S steak pie, a bottle of Chardonnay and a tub of Ben & Jerry's, melted, on my doorstep 2 years ago, at the very peak of my crisis. Her very reliable reliability. Except for right now, apparently. And given that I couldn't get hold of her, I had two choices, the more attractive of them being admittedly pathetic. I took a deep breath and set off to find the house, alone. Past the bijou boutique selling dresses more expensive than our monthly rent. Past a subtle-looking restaurant boasting 2 Michelin stars. Looking for number 74 proved more difficult than anticipated, but eventually I found it. And when I did, the most imposing house on this side of the square, naturally, I rather wished I hadn't. Set safely behind iron railings, garlanded casually in wisteria and ivy, it was as perfect as something from a Jane Austen adaptation, its handsome facade marred only slightly by a building site next door. And yet, for some reason, the house gave me the chills. The many windows, both impassive and implacable, the side run down to the tradesman's entrance below stairs sounding a warning to take heed of. Beware, it said, interlopers aren't welcome here. Yet there I was, loitering in the shade of a real palm tree in an enormous hand-carved urn, too late to attend what was called, on yesterday's WhatsApp thread, a casual kitchen supper, a term I'd had to look up to check I'd understood. When a get-together had been suggested, I'd expected custard creams around a tea urn in a drafty church hall, not a full-on dinner party or kitchen supper or whatever on earth this called itself when it was at home. Held at Nella and Marcus Jackson's very exclusive home at that. A couple I barely knew, a couple well outside my usual circle. Facts I did possess. Melissa taught Nella yoga privately, hence our invite to help with the street party. The high-powered husband, Marcus, was standing in the upcoming local by-election. We'd met once at a local fundraiser, introduced by Melissa. He'd been polite but distracted, looking past me to see who else he could charm. Conversation exhausted, I'd moved on to safer pastures by the time Nella herself rocked up, late after a rumoured meeting with TV executives. No one could miss Nella, all shaggy blonde pony hair and iridescent smile. Clad in soft tawny fur, tall and glamorous as a film star, she'd glided in, oblivious to admiring glances, slipping her hand girlishly into her husband's. I'd escaped soon after, never wanting to leave Zack for long. Now, slowly, I opened the ornate gate, thinking wistfully of my own small flat. The idea of arriving in tandem with my best friend was a very different proposition to arriving at this mansion alone, and I was starting to feel uncomfortable in my own formal frock and high heels, 1970s open-toed mules I'd snapped up in Portobello Market last year on a whim, just a little too tight. But don't get me wrong, I believed wholeheartedly in the proposed street party, following the disasters in the community, not least the